This is the AP question for the Quidio. It says a rural county hospital offers several health services. The hospital administrators conducted a poll to determine whether the residents' satisfaction with the available services depends on their gender. A random sample of 1,000 adult county residents were selected. The gender of each respondent was recorded, and each was asked whether he or she was satisfied with the services offered by the hospital. The resulting data are shown in the table below, as you can see. Part A once says, using a significance level of 0.05, conduct an appropriate test to determine if, for the adult residents of this county, there is an association between gender and whether or not they were satisfied with the services offered by the hospital. So for part A, we're using our alpha value of 0.05. I have my null hypothesis is no association between gender and whether or not they were satisfied with the services offered by the hospital. And our alternative hypothesis is that there is an association between gender and whether or not they were satisfied with the services offered by the hospital. Our assumptions, we can go ahead and already assume that it is a simple random sample. And also for our assumptions for using a chi-squared test, it has to be 80% of, it says at least 80% of expected values must be greater than 5, and no expected values can be less than 1. And going back to our table, that is definitely the case, but we have everything greater than 5. Name the test. Our test is the chi-squared test. And then in my calculator, I used my matrices. So I went to second matrices and went to edit. And so for matrix A, I have this, and then matrix B, it calculates our expected values that we would expect all of this answers to be. So then we go to stat tests, chi-squared test, and we have our matrix A and matrix B, and we press calculate. And then we get the chi-squared value of 4.117 and our p-value of 0.0424 with the degrees of freedom of 1. So this means that our p-value is 0.0424. And if we were to go back to our alpha value of 0.05, 0.05 is greater than 0.0424. So we reject the null hypothesis based on our p-value of 0.024, which is less than our alpha value of 0.05. In context, there is an association between gender and whether or not they were satisfied with the services offered by the hospital. In part B, it says, is 800 over 1,000 a reasonable estimate for the proportion of all adult county residents who are satisfied with the services offered by the hospital? Explain why or why not. And I said it is a reasonable estimate for the proportion of all adult county residents who are satisfied with services offered by the hospital because it was a random sample from the population.